it's Anzi. How are you all doing today? I hope that everyone is staying safe and healthy wherever you are in the world right now. Thank you so much, as usual, for tuning into my YouTube channel. In today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Copic Markers, about one of my favorite brands of paper that I use for Copic, and also some key tips on how to draw a chibi character. The paper that I'm using is the Mossery Watercolour Sketchbook with the 300 GSM paper. For the dress, I painted it with R14 as the base layer, and then for the shadows, I used a combination of R35 and also BV000. For her hair, the main color that I used was E40, which is actually a very light warm gray, and then for shading, I used a combination of BV0000 and W0. For her eyes, I combined a bright green G20 with a desaturated khaki color called E84. For skin, I used my favorite R colors, which are R000, R01, and R20 for blush. And as usual, I used the Copic Multiliners that I have for lining, and for highlights, I used the Sakura Gelly Roll white ink gel pen. So as usual, I'm going to start by coloring the face first, and here I'm going to apply R20 on the cheeks for blush, and then I'm going to blend this out with a skin tone color called R000. You can see that the two different colored inks are blending together quite smoothly on this paper, and the Mossery sketchbook with the watercolor paper is actually one of my favorite papers to use for Copic markers, exactly because it allows me to do such smooth blending. The only downside though is that the paper itself has a bit of a texture, being watercolor paper, and if you keep using your Copic markers on this paper, it's gonna be a little bit tough on that soft nib, i.e. the nib's gonna get a little bit roughed up. And the other thing is that the paper, again, is meant for watercolor originally, so it does kind of suck up a lot of ink if you use alcohol markers on this paper. So just beware of that when you try this paper out for any sort of Copic marker art. So now we're starting to color the hair with this marker called E40. And the E color family for Copic markers stands for earth. So these are supposed to be like earth tones, right? So you might be thinking, oh, these are all like browns, but as you can see here, this E40 marker is more like a soft warm gray, and in fact the E color family in the Copic marker world is a little bit complicated in the sense that there's a very wide range of hues within this color family. Like some colors are more like, brown orange, and then others are more like, gray or red or even green. So you really kind of have to just try different markers to understand the entire range. Let's move on and color the dress in with R14. The key to drawing a good chibi character is to remember to keep everything simple. A chibi character, if you think about it, is supposed to be a simplified and condensed version of a full-sized anime character. And because a chibi character is supposed to be smaller versus a normal-sized anime character, correspondingly, there's also a less amount of detail in the line art and the shading. So I guess how you draw a chibi is really a matter of personal style, but if you're going for that classic Japanese anime chibi style, then just keep the level of detail in the character design, the line art, and the shading to a minimum. So what I mean by keeping the level of detail to a minimum is, for example, if you look at the hair for this character, you would have noticed that I didn't really define the hairline out too much. I didn't draw like individual strands of hair. The hair is more like grouped together, especially if you look at the bangs, right? So that's already like a simplification of normal anime character hair. And what this simplification does is that it helps other people who are looking at the character with being able to quickly understand the entire character design in a glance. And personally, I think that's the whole point of a chibi, is that you look at the character, the lines and the coloring are easy to understand, and the first impression that it gives you is that, oh, it's cute. I think that's the point of a chibi. Anyways, so to finish this up, I'm going to add a light bit of shading to the hair with BV0000. BV0000 is a cool color, and I think it adds a bit of nice contrast versus the base color, which is a warm earth tone. If you've seen my other YouTube videos before, you would know that I have this habit of reworking the line art after the coloring is done. And this is exactly what I'm doing here. I always feel like when I look back at the line art after I color, there are always certain parts of the lines that I want to just emphasize a little bit more. So here I'm using the Copic Multiliners in both sepia and in wine to rework the lines. If you're interested in knowing more about how I do my line art, you can check out my other YouTube video, which is about how to do manga style line art. And I also have another video which is about the Copic Multiliners that I use for lining. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and as usual, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. See you next time!